Where's Magnus? Hans Niemann's waiting. No one's at the board. He's about a minute down on the clock. Oh, he turns up. He pulls another Magnus late gambit.
Let's go. This is going to be absolute cinema.
Freestyle chess finals in South Africa. The pieces are a complete mess here, but still it's Magnus versus Hans. We got to check it out. Another incredible battle. Magnus opens up with this rook pawn blasting into the game. Niemann copies. What a battle. And before you can say grab your popcorn, Magnus gains the space. If you capture, queen streaming out and there's no knight to kick it. So this was played. Setting up the structure. Magnus goes for the space and it's a bit of a theme. Niemann opens the sniper. Pawn d3 sets up the overpowered connect 4. Magnus only goes and wins himself a bit of epic chess merch. Check out the link below if you want to get your hands on some. Absolutely love those designs. Pawn b6 sets up the pyramid and g3 opens this sniper. Just one of the shirts in the shop. Now the knight's developing. Bishop c3. You're about to see another because Magnus whispers, do you even rook cliff, bro? As that one enters the game. This knight spinning round now. No one has a clue what's going on here, so we're just going to pretend we do. The pieces are a mess. We know roughly how they move. Knight f6 is played and this one enters the game. Now don't worry, if you've had a drink or you're having a drink, we see it too. The kings go absolutely nuts. There's no king safety fist bump between these guys. Yes, they shook hands, but let's not push it. There was once a lawsuit for $100 million. We now see this knight entering the game, and a5 could be on the cards. I mean, imagine if Connect 5 was set up. My head would absolutely explode. I talk enough rubbish as it is. You could take on Croissant here. Rubbish means trash, by the way, for those who don't say the word rubbish. I guess it still translates, but we don't see takes on Croissant. It is forced in some countries, like here on Herd Island. These lads have to play it if someone offers it. Not in this game. Magnus fights in the centre. And again, Hans Niemann's like, come at me, bro. Take that space. Magnus is like, fine. But with great space comes great responsibility. Will this be a case of premature attaculation? It does afflict even the most top grandmasters.
And I was hoping that he would go for
Say it.
a premature attack in the game. I think it was just a boring draw.
Apparently, he believes he prematurely attacked me, but then.
What did he miss? How were you able to equalize so easily?
I mean, White has a. What?
That pawn's now under fire, and that would be a big check, winning a rook, and you can't take, or pawn takes back, and you'd fork these guys. So queen b2 from Magnus holds the fort. Now e5 cementos everything. Peter Lecko's absolutely loving it. So now you really do have to take on Croissant. Love that one, by the way. The mug's in the shop. Now we see recaptures and Chewbacca's favourite move on the board. The Wookiee one covers this sensitive point. Look at the queen. She's in jail. Way out in Siberia, needs to enter the game. King g7, wrong piece, Mr. Niemann. You had to get the queenie into the game. Rook d3, piles on the pressure, and so e5. A re-cemento, very tasty. Knight d2 spinning around, going for some light squared grip. Bishop e6 fights back, but bang! Magnus plants the knight where it belongs on the outpost. It does change the pawn structure. This is the game, but he remains better with the space, with the better pieces. The pawn's under fire. Magnus sets up an upside down bathtub. And what should you do with black? This is best. Tickle the rook. We're not in the back cave, by the way. I'm on a normal analysis board here. This is what it looks like. Oh, cover your eyes if you actually go with the freestyle chess view in the chess.com tournament view. Absolutely disgusting. Someone just threw up on the board. Even in the live analysis, they switched from that view. It's so bad. The rook would now move. And then after the bishop retreats, if you kick this knight away, it's got a square and the bishop's out of danger. Let's compare this to the game. Because f3, no bishop f5, bishop h3. Now what's the problem? e3. Where's the knight going? You can't crash through. It's well enough covered by these two. So it drops back here, but now the bishop doesn't have an escape route. g4 immediately, not best. First you start with knight e4. You're threatening knight g5 to e6. And if you play something like this to give the bishop some room, cover the square, then the problem is pawn g4. And that bishop is getting embarrassed. Say king g8, for example, knight f2, and you're winning it. You're just winning a piece. You're still winning a piece as Hans Niemann plays, because what does he do? He goes for the sack of the pony. Absolute desperation. 2 pawns for the piece, but it's not good enough because he didn't even get a check. At least say check if you're going to sack a piece for 2 pawns, or sack a bishop on h6 or h3. Got to be done. Magnus brings back the rook here, and this one lifts into the game. Rook f2 challenges. Franken queen finally re-enters the battlefield. This one doubles on the file. Queen e7 comes around. Bishop g2, heading back to life. Takes. Queen recaptures. Domination of the f-file here, but now the bishop blocks it all. Threatens the knight. It is protected, and Magnus says, be my guest. Queen g3. One of the top moves. The top move, in fact. Now, you could have a look at taking with the bishop here. Bishop recaptures and just say, fine, prove it. Break through. You've got a pretty bad bishop here, staring at all its own colour pawns. Not so easy. But white can do it. You push the pawn. You stick the king on g2. Rook h1. Different kind of plans. It's winning for white. But not played. Niemann goes rook f8 here, and Magnus now drops back. Spawns a seahorse. Possibly threatens e4 in some lines, or maybe bishop e4, get the knight back. Either way, we don't find out, because Niemann plays pawn e4, saying I'll take that space, but it's now a massive weakness that can be very quickly piled up on. h4 from Magnus, hinting h5 in response, king h2, rook f6 here. And you could play rook f4, bring another piece to bear on this one, but Magnus spots a tactical shot, executes it, he plays the move. Bishop takes on e4. And after bishop takes, looks impossible, because the queen's on it, right? But this is the tactical point. Now in the game, we saw queen takes. But if king... No, we didn't actually, sorry. This was resigns. But if king takes, check... and you do this, and you emerge a knight ahead. And if queen takes, then you take here, and again, you're just winning the game. I mean, you can check, but it's a spike check. You step up. At the end of the day, white is a knight ahead. Domination by Magnus here. What to say? And the final standings, let's have a quick look in if you're interested. Results. Sindarov sitting top. He had a stormer. Took down Magnus first round. Middle of the pack though, Magnus. Caruana and Niemann following. Awful day for Magsudlu. Blimey. Never saw that. What an absolute stinker. Clearly didn't get any sleep. That is horrendous. Big surprise there. Hope you enjoyed this game. Thanks very much for watching. Check out the merch if you want to support the channel. Get some incredible tops and mugs and wall art. And have a look at the video on screen in case you missed this cracker between Magnus and Hans played this year. Thanks a lot for watching and see you soon. Cheers.